If you're not in love with your life, then I have good news for you. You are about to embark on the greatest adventure if you so choose it. Life is meant to be fun, joyous, pleasurable, and adventurous, spontaneous and diverse, rich, elevating, uplifting, thrilling, explorative, curious, all the things you want it to be. The key here is it really is up to you. If you are not yet in love with your life, I'm here to tell you that you can be in love with your life every day, in any circumstance, at any given moment. It is absolutely possible, and it doesn't matter where you live, what you look like, where you come from, what you think your disadvantages are, or how much money is in your bank account. Creating a life that you are absolutely in love with is possible, and it's all up to you. So, ready to fall in love with your life? Ready to live your best life possible? Ready to remember that anything is possible for you and that you deserve and are worthy of the greatest experiences you could ever think of? Then join me in this conversation with our next guest. Hello and welcome to my first podcast. I am so excited because I have wanted to make my own podcast for quite some time, but I never had a very specific theme or direction or point of focus that I really wanted to dedicate a whole podcast to. Until recently, I finally realized what it is I wanted to have a podcast about, and it is falling in love with your life. Realizing that I don't have to, and this is purely coming from my own realization, and this is why it's so exciting for me, because I know that anyone can do this. Creating the life that you actually love, creating a life that you want to live, and you don't have to wait for anything to happen, for anything to come into your life. You don't have to wait for any changes. You can start today to experience a life that you are actually in love with. We can be in love with the life that we have. And furthermore, from my perspective, the more we love our life as it is now, the more we create more things to love about it. It really is about getting very specific and direct with yourself in terms of where you're focusing your attention, because what you focus your attention on, you create more of and you see more of. And so if we can start to assist and support ourselves to see what we actually have in our lives that we're actually in love with, that we're grateful for, that we can appreciate, the more our lives reflect that love and appreciation. And so I am so excited to be getting started with this podcast, because I just see so much potential in what we're able to do and create in our own lives once we start allowing ourselves to actually see how amazing our life is and how much our life can give to us in terms of experience, and how we can start today. We don't have to wait. Nothing has to change. The only thing that has to change in your life today to start having a life that you're absolutely in love with is you. And while that can be the hardest part, realizing that we hold the keys, everything is in our own hands in terms of the life that we want to create, it can also be so empowering in realizing that it's really up to us. So I am creating this podcast so everyone can start to realize and feel that empowerment that they actually have, and to realize the power they actually have to create the life they want by starting to love their life today. So this podcast is going to highlight and showcase people, everyday people that are, maybe don't seem like anything special to anyone else, but they are living a life that they absolutely love. And so we're going to pick their brains, and we're going to figure out their secret and find a common denominator and find that thread that seems to be weaved into everyone's lives, that is the secret ingredient, is the magical potion, is the missing link of how we actually create the life that we love. And so I have some guests lined up that are servers, they're in advertisement, they're in yoga, they're, just everyday people living their lives, but they are very deliberately creating a life that they love, and you can see that they love their life. And so, yeah, I want to create a podcast that highlights people that are clearly living a life that they love, and I want them to share with us what they do, because I think that anybody, all of us, can have a life we truly love. And I think by doing that, we actually are serving the world on a greater scale, because once everyone starts realizing how much power they have to change their own lives, we start to realize how much power we have to change this world. But that it really only starts with you. You can only change your own life. You can't change the big picture. You can't change the big world out there. You can't change anyone else, but you can change yourself. And so once we start realizing how empowered we are to change our own life, I'm so sure that we're going to realize collectively together we can start changing this world. So it takes one person at a time. And so 1 + 1 + 1, we all start to love the life that we are living, and we soon have a world that is expressing love in action. So I'm very excited about this. For me, I want to just share a couple things that I have been doing that have kind of supported me to start realizing actually how much I am in love with my life, or I'm starting to create that being in love with my life experience. It's a new thing for me. I've had a couple moments recently, and that's what kind of spurred the podcast, was that I had a few moments where I felt like just sitting around, wasn't doing anything, just kind of sitting there in the moment. And then I had this feeling of how much I was in love with my life, how much I appreciated my life, how much I was so grateful for where I was and what was around me. And like just that feeling of complete contentment and peace and well-being, that to me is really the purpose of life, in terms of we're all able to access that and to create that and to have that a natural way of living every day, a consistent experience for all people on earth. I think that's possible. And so for me, what has kind of changed in this last year that I have been starting to apply to start creating this more I'm in love with my life experience is more specifically really focusing in on things about my life that I'm grateful for. And so this is me being very specific in focusing in on what are the aspects of my life that I'm happy with? What am I grateful for? What are the things in my life that make me feel grateful and make me feel appreciative? And to focus on that. And so I did like a 30-day journey journaling, attitude of gratitude, where I was listing out things every single day that I was grateful for. I did a little 7-day journey on Facebook publicly. In my writing generally, I've always been a big journaler and have been very heavy into like more self-reflective writing. But now my writing has moved to just really like highlighting what it is I'm grateful for in my day. And there's so much to be grateful for. It's like, if anyone has been into the, whole law of attraction and creating your own reality, I feel like, that whole sphere of teachings and understanding is really kind of expanding to showcase the bigger picture of what it is that we're actually doing with that, in terms of like how we do actually as individuals create our reality. And so I'm not sure where I was going with that, but the point really is that when you focus on something in your life, it grows. So what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the things that aren't working? Are you focusing on the things that you're not happy with? Are you focusing on the things that from your perspective are problematic? And is that like your main kind of experience with your life? Like nothing really works out. Things are never really going your way. You don't like this and you don't like this person and you have this bad experience. Like, what is the general theme of your day? And then more specifically, what is it that you focus on more so? And so it's realizing that if I choose to deliberately focus and highlight the things in my life that are going well, I had a pleasant interaction with a coworker. That person was very polite at the bank. what a lovely day. How beautiful is that sun in the blue sky? Oh, it's so fucking cold out right now, but look at how clean and crisp the air feels, it's like that point of finding the silver lining and finding the positives and finding the bright side, because that exists in all circumstances also. And so it really is about what we focus on and what we choose to see as our reality. Like we have that choice. We have that freedom to choose to see what it is our reality is showing us. What is actually here as our reality. Is it all bad? Is it all negative? Is it all things working against us? Is it? Or is it everything's working in our favor? Everything's working for us. Everything's in support of us. It's just really how you look at it. So this podcast is definitely for people who are ready and willing to take the next step in their life experience of becoming self-empowered and realizing that they create their own life and they can create any life that they actually want, and they can live a joyful, loving, abundant, I want to say glory, just like a glorified life experience, just something that like life is meant to be fun. Life is meant to be fun. Life is meant to be joyful. Life is meant to be free. Like we are free to choose to explore our life with an open heart and with fun and curiosity as our guide. And there's no reason we can't be living that today. There's no reason. Any limitations we think that we have, the limitation is actually in the belief of who you think you are and what you're capable of. And so this podcast is for anyone who is tired of the same old, and ready to try something new and create something different and take their lives into their own hands. And so I am so excited and so grateful to be able to share my guests with you and this podcast with you and my own inspiration and excitement about coming into my own realizations of how much I have the power to change my life and to create the life that I absolutely love, and to share with you my process of falling in love with my life, because I am falling in love with my life and not much is changing except for me and my perspective and how I choose to look at things and how I choose to approach things and how I choose to get up every day and live my life. So thank you so much for being here. And I am so grateful for the opportunity to share myself and other people and these, wondrous moments and understandings and insights and realizations that we have about how we can actually live our best life that we absolutely love. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.